Hello and welcome to another Chatbox podcast. It's episode 47 of the Chatbox podcast here today. How are you doing? Right, let's crack on. As you know, at each week I have a guest to talk about their career or job. So let's crack on with this week's guest. It's voiceover artist and she's from Nashville, Tennessee and the States. Live from the States, it's Lisa Hayes. Hello, Lisa. Welcome along.
Hi, Ben. It's nice to be here.
How are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. 5 questions, if that's okay.
Of course.
About your voiceover career.
Sure.
Let's go for it. Question 1. Where did you start your career as a voiceover artist?
I actually started my career as a voiceover artist as the voice of answering machines. And my friends would give me $5 and a cassette tape and ask me to record their outgoing message. Hello, you've reached Bob. He's not home. That kind of thing.
Fair enough, and it was a brilliant start to your career as a voiceover person.
I think so.
We'll get these right off the bat. Question 2, who are your inspirations in voiceover growing up?
Well, growing up, I watched a lot of cartoons. I was also an avid reader, so I would always watch cartoons to the very end, and I would see the same names at the end of each cartoon when they rolled the credits. And it was interesting to find out how many characters the same person could do. And I would always try it. I carried around a tape recorder that my parents had no longer used for, and I would do all the different voices that I could come up with then. But I loved listening to the different comedians. There was a comedian in the US called Rich Little, and he could make any type of voice. He was more into impersonations, but I would watch him and I could see his throat move differently. And I thought, that's very interesting because he's doing this voice, his mouth isn't changing, or it is changing, and his throat is moving as he's talking. So I realized that's really where your voice comes from, is through your throat. And by modifying the way that you're holding your tongue or you're holding your mouth, your voice can change and be different.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Brilliant way to talk about your inspirations. Question 3, what is your favorite part about the job?
My favorite part about the job, in my case, is learning different things, because I do different how-to videos and I do different types of narration. I get to learn different things, whether it's about animals or it's about how different corporations work or how different functions within corporations work. So I never know what I'm going to do from one day to the next.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Question 4, we're hitting them through the bat here very quickly, very fast paced.
Yes.
How has COVID affected your life and line of work?
Well, COVID has affected everyone's life, period. But in my particular case, I live in a rural area outside of Nashville, Tennessee, and I was already working from home. So I had a lot of the equipment that everybody went to rush to the stores or online stores to get. And it affected me in that I did need one cord. I had a cord fail for my monitor, and getting the replacement took a lot longer than I anticipated because of the such supply and demand situation that we had. As far as how it affected, what was the other part of the question? The work. Well, that was life and work. That covered life and work. But yeah, it was scary, obviously, scary for everyone. And I just was already working from home, like I said. So it didn't change a whole lot in that aspect. I didn't have to leave my house anyway. So I just got comfortable and decided to make life inside my house even cozier and better. And it wasn't enjoyable at any stretch of the imagination because my family was still out there and I couldn't see them. So it was very difficult, just like on everyone else.
Yeah, brilliant. Question 5 and the last question on the list. We're getting through these quick, whittling through.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to young, aspiring voiceover artists who are starting out?
If you're just starting out in voiceover or broadcasting, it's really important to get training. There are like I mentioned, my inspiration, there are so many different ways to say words that aren't always the correct pronunciation, or you have a different style than the companies want. And you need to know what they're going to expect for you, to sound like or to proceed through, whether it's a slower read or a faster read. And you need to learn from a reputable coach or acting coach how to display the emotions that they want. And also you need to learn a little about business, because you have to find these jobs, to find the someone that's going to pay you to do what you're looking for. So
Brilliant.
definitely get some coaching.
Brilliant. That's it for today. Thank you very much for joining us, Lisa.
Thank you, Ben. I appreciate you having me on.
Here on the Chatbox podcast. Do join me again soon for another guest, another topic. But for now, please give it up for today's special guest, voiceover artist Lisa Hayes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for watching and listening, and that's a wrap.